The Surgeon General, have you heard this study? Where it's the first generation of children that won't live as long as their parents. Lifespan is now getting shorter. And what we found with the telomere is that as it gets shorter and shorter and shorter, it reaches something called senescence, meaning death of the cell. So you can see where it's really frayed on the bottom left. You've lost too much software. The cell can't even function. It's going to shut down, can't even divide. And when that happens, you'll die of a degenerative issue at that point. So this is all Nobel Prize winning research in the category of physiology or medicine. And most people don't even know they have a telomere. In fact, I ask a lot of people, talk to your friends, walk down the street, knock on doors, ask them if they know what a telomere is. Ask your healthcare professional. Most of them say, what is that? What's a telomere? And yet it's the very core foundation of our health and leads to either our healthy quality life or a lack of. One of the things that with these kids that are developing these degenerative issues now, one of the things that I believe through my research, being mentored by Bill and by John, and through my observations and sharing this for over 8 years now, I think one of the biggest contributors to that is the chemicals that are in the processed foods, because they found that those actually shorten your telomeres. When they invented processed foods, they didn't even know what a telomere was. So inadvertently, these chemicals that we're putting into our body, studies are showing that a lot of people are eating 100% processed food. So in USA Today, front page, USA Today, April 2012, it said that pre-teenagers' telomeres are 10 years shorter than they used to be. Just in recent decades. That's called accelerated telomere shortening. So don't we see a lot more challenges with the youth now? I've been watching it as I've been out there lecturing and traveling around the world. I've done I'd say over 5,000 presentations on this now in the last 8 years. Bill Andrews is the one that I was mentored by, and he's being featured in Popular Science because of his research and what he's contributed. And how many of you believe the body can heal itself? It has an innate ability to heal itself, right? And if you cut yourself, the skin heals itself up, and not even a cut there later, right? So Bill Andrews knew on a much more profound level that the body can heal itself on a telomere issue. And he's dedicated his life to that. He said, I'm going to cure aging or die trying. And he's the one who identified the gene on a molecular level in that chromosome that actually produces an enzyme called telomerase. He did that in 1994. By 1997, with him and the help of his researchers, the only lab in the world that can do this, they were actually able to activate that gene, and it repaired the damage to the telomere and the DNA. It reestablished the nucleic bond connections. And what they theorized at that point was, wow, if we have these symptoms that are associated with aging because we're losing the DNA, if we restore the DNA, what would happen? And they just theorized, well, you would probably go back to your mid-20s, physiologically. You might be 60, 70, but you would go back to physically at the age of a 20-year-old because that's the expression of the DNA of a 20-year-old. Well, this is me and Bill right here. That's me about 8 years ago. My wife did a little video of us together. There's so many people that are just aging youthfully. Would you agree? It's like you come back year after year. What I learned through Bill in some of these studies was they piggybacked off of Bill's research when he did that. He got Inventor of the Year runner-up for doing that in 1997 with the human skin cells. Harvard piggybacked off of that, and Dr. Ronald DeFino headed up a research team at Harvard, and they actually activated that gene in mice. And it was shortly after this that the Nobel Prize was given, because what they saw was those nucleic bonds reestablish their connections in a living, breathing mammal. And what are we? Living, breathing mammals, right? If you're a mammal, raise your hand. That was news to me. I didn't know I was a mammal. So that's powerful, what happened to the mice. Dr. DeFino said it was a remarkable reversal of the aging process. And so no wonder it was given the Nobel Prize. Now, Bill Andrews and his research team, for over a decade, have been trying to find compounds through testing. Again, they're the only lab in the world that can do this. Very tedious work. They tested over 304,000 compounds, one at a time, manually in the beginning, trying to activate that gene in the chromosome. And they were able to do it, but only with chemical compounds. So John Anderson was introduced to Bill Andrews in 2009. And who was here when Bill spoke from the stage in 2009? He had me at hello. I mean, that guy had me at hello. And there I am in his lab about a month or two ago. And Peter Greenlaw introduced Bill and John together because he saw something there. Bill Andrews was having a hard time finding a holistic way of supporting telomeres. And who's John Anderson? Like only the greatest living formulator on the planet today, right? John formulated for over 600 companies, over 2,500 different products, and he said every single one of them compromised the quality of the products that he was formulating. And so, along with Jim and Kathy Cooper, they had a big vision to literally impact world health and free people, both physically and financially. And are we doing it? We have so many testimonies, that's not under trial. So John he was introduced to Bill to learn more about telomeres. And as he was introduced to Bill, he got so excited. He said, I would have formulated for telomeres a long time ago had I known all this about them. I'd heard of them, but I didn't know this extensive role that they played. And he said, I've never been more excited. In fact, he said, I believe this is the reason I was born. Everything that I've learned that's proprietary to him, I believe was for this. And I believe that too. I believe that's a divine connection. I see God in the details. And so John was able to do what up to 40 researchers weren't able to do in over a decade, holistically, to support telomeres. You see those little black lids behind on the back screen? Those were there when I was visiting. There were hundreds of botanicals that were currently being tested that John Anderson had been sending over. So I love isogenics and the fact that they are continued to evolve and get better and better as we learn things and just not become complacent. Would you agree? Who's the benefactors of that? Us. And that's what John and Jim and Kathy wanted for everybody, and Eric as well. So the disclaimers, you guys, is so important that we stay compliant. As we start to support the body holistically, obviously it's going to get better. We need to make sure that we don't make any medical claims, and I'm going to share a little bit on the compensation plan here and what I'm doing with this pack and how I'm introducing it. So this is Dick Sauer. I did a meeting at a dentist office in Wisconsin, and Amy came to that, and I think Dick might be here. They said he's going to be here today or a little bit later, and they were worried about him. And so Amy said, on my way home, I had a whole new perspective on aging, Dave, and I got my father-in-law on it, and he's 82 on the left, he's 83 in the middle, he's 87 on the right. He got started on the isogenesis and had such amazing results, he started adding more and more products very quickly. And he's 89 now. If you saw him on Facebook, they videoed him. He said, for my 89th birthday, I'm going to do 89 push-ups. He didn't make 89, he made 107. And then our own Jill Bowen, oh my goodness. Wouldn't you be excited? That's 2011, and the bottom right is 2019. And Jill's here with us today, and she absolutely appreciates the benefits that she's getting from this and this movement inside the movement that's helping team members. So I asked Jill if she would share very quickly a little bit about her excitement. Right there. Let's hear it for Jill, you guys.
Okay, you guys. How many of you guys love isogenesis? Do you know my favorite number? Is 8, but I take 2 and 2 each day, but my favorite number is 8. Just saying. So you guys,
says 4 on the bottle.
Yeah, just take 2 and 2. But really, you guys, what is happening to me is when you put the nutrition in your body, like Dave said, amazing things happen, but it really does start from the inside out. And what I have found is so many people my age are looking for solutions for the outside in. It just doesn't work that way. So really, your light does shine when you are flooding your body from the inside out. And let's see, 7 years now I've been taking isogenesis, and I have more energy than I've ever had. Vitality, clarity, focus, energy like crazy.
Working out 6 and 7
days a week. I work out 6 days a week, and I have no inflammation in my body. Really, I don't have any pain in my body whatsoever, but it truly is. For this to work, you guys, you need to be taking these consistently. I've never missed a day. You have, for anything to work, really, you've got to be making sure you do follow what that says on the bottle, 2 and 2, okay? So important. So if you're not consistent with it when you're 60, right, that's the goal, is you want to be taking this forever. This is a product that I love. It is my favorite product. I take all the products together, but definitely this is the product that I love the most. I can't live without it. I just want to say thank you to Dave for being such a warrior, for Isogenesis for the last 8 years. Is he amazing or what? Thank you.
Let's hear it for Taylor, you guys.
So excited.
Thank you. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Bottom right, 60 years old, you guys. She said 30-year-olds are calling her and wanting to hang out. She's like, I've already been there. How cool is that? I picked up motocross. I wasn't even thinking, I hadn't ridden a dirt bike for over 25 years, and I'd been on the Isogenesis for a couple of years. I'm thinking, why not motocross? 46, why not, right? And it's been a total bucket list for me, and being able to hang out and be on the motocross track and beating teenagers on the motocross track, better stamina, better recovery. I'd go 3, 4, 5 days in a row and not even get sore. And I eventually had the accident, shattered that leg, and the doctor that was there couldn't fix it. He says there's only about 6 doctors in this country that can, and he fixed it. And that doctor told me that I wouldn't be standing on, it'd take up to a year before I could stand on that leg. I tried to tell him about isogenics and the isogenesis, and that was like talking to the wall. But he said I would never run again. You guys, in 3 months, I was running stadiums. I was back on the dirt bike in 4 months. 4 months. A pediatric orthopedic surgeon said, with a P1 fracture, that's impossible. And then she noticed I didn't even have any muscle atrophy. I'd been off my feet for 10 weeks. I'd only been on them for 2 weeks right there. Amazing what the body's capable of when we support it on a foundational level. So you probably learned a couple things here, a new part of the human anatomy that you didn't know about, and then that we now have a supplement that could support that. Kathy, who's in the audience, I'm sure, she says age is just a number at 70 years old. People don't believe that on Facebook, so she always has to come in and validate it. And then Chantel, this is such a great example. She was on the Isogenics products, but she wasn't utilizing the Isogenesis. And she was having some challenges in her life, hard for her to get around. She had to buy a new mattress and things like that. And she got on the product and just so ecstatic with the results. She's hiking, she's riding horses, she's going boating now, and she's probably doing the most back-breaking job there is. She's laying flooring with her husband. So what an incredible testimony. But there are so many people as I've traveled around that think Isogenesis is just a vitamin. It's so much more than that, you guys. It's so much more. So long telomeres versus short telomeres. I like what Jill Boeing says. You know, do you want long telomeres or short telomeres? Oh, wait a second. Do you even know what a telomere is? That's the opportunity here, you guys. The Science of Aging, Dr. Joshua Plant. I have a man crush on that guy. He is so awesome. But he said 85 to 90% of deadly and gruesome diseases are due to lifestyle choices you could have made differently while we were alive and healthy. But you can only make those choices if you know about them. Try it. Go to your neighbor and knock on the door and ask them if they know what a telomere is. And then just explain to them that that's the most important part of their human anatomy. It's dealing with every cell. And make the little telomere rope too. There's probably some people in the audience that have one. I meant to bring mine and I forgot. So, and use the shoestring example with the plastic tip, how it protects the DNA. So just in closing up here, you are what you eat, right? Everybody knows that. And can replacing one meal change your life? And it's a resounding yes, if it's that meal right there. John Anderson said no company ever let him make that meal. His mind knew how, but he said they always compromised. He says there's not one instance where a company did not compromise the quality of the products that he formulated. Over 2,500 for over 600 companies. No wonder my life changed in 3 days after putting that in my body when nothing else was working. So partnering these two things up, there's a lot of principles that are built into this, but it's easy to understand. It's simple to do. Everybody knows they need it because this is one shake every morning, 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. Most people are already doing some kind of nutritional shake that really isn't working for them. How many of you bought the juicer? You clean the screen out afterwards, right? And after about a week and a half, it never comes back out. And so, again, that's not a paradigm shift. And health is a habit. And it's not something you get in a month. It's like Jay Bennett said last year from stage, healthy people do healthy things every day, month after month, year after year. And unhealthy people do unhealthy things every day. Would this be a healthy thing to do every day? I'm telling you, that thing is so nutritionally packed and supporting the human body. My personal opinion, the Isogenesis is the single greatest one thing that anybody could put in their body. And I've done over 5,000 presentations. And I'm watching what's happening. Now you partner that up with a meal in the morning that's going to support every organ in the body. The Isogenesis is in calories, carbs, proteins, fats. So that's where the meal comes in. And that's unprecedented, unparalleled nutrition is what I call it. And so partnering those up, $164 for that pack. And Isogenics is doing a promotion right now where if you enroll 2 people with that same pack, you get back $170. Wait a second. Did they make a profit? The customer did, right? $6 profit. It's the Eat for Free program. In fact, we could literally say that because they are eating for free. And it doesn't stop there. Isogenics is so generous, and they see this movement and they're supporting it. And I love this because it is truly, I believe this is the single greatest promotion to ever happen. Not just in the networking industry, but in almost any kind of sales. I truly believe that. This is the single greatest promotion, I believe it's shaping up to be that. So it doesn't stop there. Those 2 people could also earn their $170. And when they do that, you get another $450 for a total of $620, guys. Where's the profit? Did the company make any profit? This is a clue. You gotta ask yourself, why are they doing that? There is no profit to the company right there. Willie Morris and Digna, who are in here, I asked them, they got started with the Forever Pack. Congratulations, an executive in 1 day with the Forever Pack. In 2 months, 200 people in their organization, over 30 people here at this event. Just got started 2 months ago. It's a clue. So I asked Willie at the end of 4 months, would you say you've at least doubled your Forever Pack in your home? And he laughed and he said, no, more like quadrupled it. My son took the canister of shake into his room. As we were going up and down the East Coast, we did a bilingual